Hey everybody, it's Peter from NashvilleDoorCompany.com, and in this video, we're going to talk about what type of door you need to get when you decide to replace your door. And I'm not talking about the style. You can get any style you like. Specifically, do you need to replace just the door, in which case you would be getting just the door, which is called a slab, or do you need to replace the frame as well? In which case you would be getting what's called a pre-hung door, and that's a door that comes within its own frame. I'm going to explain the difference between the two and how you can choose, and then we're going to go over to Home Depot and look at a couple. In most cases, we can replace just the door. I have a video on how to measure a door. You can take a look at that. So once you know your door measurements, we can get what's called a slab, which is just the door. That slab has to be a wood door. And here's why. Even though this looks like a rectangle, I can assure you it is not. And it's my job as the professional installer to cut it, shape it, drill the locks, cut the hinges, make sure everything fits perfectly. In very few cases, if you already have a metal or fiberglass door, we might be able to get the same replacement, but it's very challenging and I never guarantee that. So now let's talk about why you would want to get a pre-hung door. A pre-hung door, the door comes within its own frame. Here are the main reasons why you would want to do that. This door opens up this way. What if for some reason you wanted the door to open this way? A laundry machine, or they want the door to open out instead of opening in. If that's the case, we need to get the proper pre-hung door. Another case would be if you had a wood door and you wanted to get a fiberglass door or a steel door. Fiberglass doors and steel doors cannot be shaped substantially, and therefore it's almost impossible to find one that's going to fit your opening. Another case would be if you wanted to get a Dutch door. A Dutch door is two doors. It's got a lower door and an upper door. And those have to be installed within their own frame because they are essentially two doors. The last case, and one of the most common cases, is that the frame itself is bad. Let's take a look at this one and I'll show you what I mean. It's important to note, this is not the frame. This trim piece, referred to as the casing, is a separate piece. And this is the outside casing. The actual frame goes from here, from my pinky to my index finger. And this frame is in great shape. There would be no need to replace this. Okay, but what if this was all busted out? Maybe it got kicked in. Oftentimes these lock holes get moved around, they get chewed up. Sometimes your frame could have 50 coats of paint on it. Down here at the bottom, they often rot, fall apart, or get infested by termites. And sometimes they just look terrible and you hate them. So those are all good reasons to replace the frame with a pre-hung door. Now, if you decide you want to get a pre-hung door, in addition to knowing the width and the height and the thickness of the door, there's one more measurement you need to know, and I'll show you that in a second, but it's also critical to know the handing. The handing is the way the door opens, because once you buy a pre-hung door, you can't just put it in any way. It has to match the handing. And because this opens into the structure, this is called an in-swing. Now here's how you determine the handing. You stand with your back to the hinges. Okay? So I have my back to the hinges. Now, which arm mimics the movement of the door? It's my right arm. Okay? And since this opens into the structure, this door is called a right hand in swing. And this door is 36 inches wide, it's 80 inches tall. If you were buying a door like this at the Home Depot, for example, you would want to get a 36 by 80 right hand in swing. Now, when you're getting a pre-hung door, an entry door, it's going to come with an 1 3/4 thick door, so it's not critical to know that measurement. But there's another measurement that's critical to know, and it's the depth of the jamb. How big is the jamb? And again, the jamb goes from right here to right here. You do not include the trim pieces when measuring the jamb. So if I put my tape measure right there, this jamb is 7.5 inches. And that's a very large jamb. That would be a custom order, or you just have to have a very good door installer like me who knows how to install that properly. Now here's an interior door. Imagine you wanted to get a pre-hung door for this. This is a right-hand door. When it comes to interior doors, there's no in-swing or out-swing because they can go either way. With an exterior door, you have a threshold and it has to open a particular way. With an interior door, it can be flipped around. With my back to the hinges, this mimics the motion of the door, so I know this is a right-hand door. I could install it this way. I could flip it around and install it this way. And let's look at this jamb. Once again, we do not include the casing in our jamb measurement. So we put the tape measure right there, and you see this is a 5-inch jamb. And now that you know the difference between a slab and a pre-hung, you can get your door order started. Make sure you watch our video on how to measure your door so you get the right size. And if none of this makes any sense to you, just give us a call. We'll come out there and do it all and get the process started. Because here at NashvilleDoorCompany.com, we do doors.